For centuries, we've looked at the human body as a biological machine. Like any complex device, the assumption is that eventually the parts simply wear out. We view aging as a matter of physical hardware failure, the gears slowly grinding down until the system stops. But certain organisms refuse to follow this trajectory. There are life forms in nature that effectively pause the clock. Take the bristlecone pine. Bristlecone pines alive today were centuries old when the ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramids. They have remained biologically functional for over 5,000 years. These trees achieve this through indeterminate growth. They maintain pools of active stem cells that can generate new tissue indefinitely. Humans operate differently. We have static adult forms and stem cell pools that eventually exhaust themselves. Because we can't compartmentalize organ failure like a tree sheds a branch, our biology appears locked into a fixed timeline of physical decay and hardware failure. Researchers like Harvard's Dr. David Sinclair have proposed a completely different framework. His information theory of aging suggests that our bodies aren't actually breaking down. Rather, the chemical signals managing our cells have lost their way. Think of your DNA as a pristine, compact disk. That's the hardware, and it stays remarkably intact as you age. But to play the music, you need a reader. In your cells, that's the epigenome, a system of chemical markers that decides which genes are turned on or off. Over time, environmental stress and DNA damage create the biological equivalent of scratches on that disk. The reader gets distracted. It starts skipping or reading the wrong genes at the wrong time, creating a state of epigenetic noise. When this noise becomes too loud, cells lose their identity. A skin cell might forget how to function as a skin cell, or a neuron might lose its ability to signal correctly. If aging is driven by corrupted software rather than permanently broken hardware, then a clean, youthful backup copy of our genetic code must still exist within ourselves. This isn't just a theory. Mammalian biology already contains a mechanism to access that backup. We see it every time a new life begins. A newly formed embryo initially carries the inherited age markers of its parents. But around day 7 of development, the embryo executes a system-wide wipe. It actively erases those epigenetic marks, resetting its biological age to 0. Scientists have identified the specific transcription factors that drive this rejuvenation. They are known as Yamanaka factors, proteins that can signal an adult cell to return to an embryonic state. By applying a carefully timed dose of these factors, researchers can perform partial reprogramming. This process allows the epigenetic noise to dissolve away, restoring youthful function without erasing the cell's specialized identity. Modern science now possesses the biological proof and the specific molecular instructions needed to reset a cell's chronological program. In 2020, Dr. Sinclair's laboratory tested this reset on a system long thought to be beyond repair, the damaged optic nerves of mice. In adult mammals, central nervous system tissue generally does not regenerate. The team delivered the reprogramming factors directly into the eyes of blind mice using a modified virus, targeting the damaged neurons. Once the cells accessed their youthful software, the nerves began to regrow. The axons surged forward past the injury site and re-established their connections to the brain, successfully restoring the animal's vision. These same programmatic rules are visible in human tissue through brain organoids, miniature three-dimensional models of the human brain grown in vats from stem cells. These organoids follow their genetic code so precisely that they autonomously sprout functional, light-sensitive optic cups. Without a body to guide them, the cells simply execute the instructions encoded in their DNA. This happens entirely without a body. It demonstrates that human DNA contains a deeply encoded intelligence. When the right biological instructions are provided, our cells possess the inherent capacity to build, wire, and repair themselves. Moving from these lab successes to a human pill is traditionally a slow, incredibly expensive process. Synthesizing and testing potential medicines in a physical lab can take decades. AI accelerates this timeline. By virtually screening billions of molecules, researchers identify age reversal compounds in milliseconds, saving centuries of labor. But biology enforces a limit. Discoveries must pass years of physical clinical trials to ensure safety. There are also structural limits to what a software reset can achieve. Reversing the epigenetic clock can restore living cells, but it cannot resurrect cells that have already died. In advanced Alzheimer's, where large numbers of neurons are lost, a biological reboot cannot bring back memories housed in physical synaptic networks that have vanished. While biological immortality remains a myth, learning to access our cellular backup copy moves aging into the category of a treatable medical condition.